Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope I have a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is Trump has been pretty much safe haven. The Democrats are really trying to find any possible and conceivable way to get at Trump. And of course, we all know the Democrats are failing. The dictators are failing at their jobs, and they are now doing this. They're saying that the judge delays Trump's sentencing until September 18th after immunity claim. It says Donald Trump's lawyers want to argue that a Supreme Court decision giving presidents immunity for official acts should void his felony conviction for covering up hush money made to a deviant. Well, what we have here is that we have a bit more. It says Donald Trump's Manhattan criminal case was delayed his sentencing until September 18th to weigh whether a new U.S. Supreme Court ruling might imperil the former president's conviction, the judge said Tuesday in a letter to his prosecutors and defense lawyers. This is probably due to the fact that the Democrats are trying to make an amendment to go after the Supreme Court. So there's that's been going on. So they're trying to wait to see what's going to happen there with their laws and that stuff like that to see where that goes. But it probably won't be going anywhere. So they're really coping and seething about this. And it's not great. Plus the RNC that is on the come up, right? And with the RNC coming up, and people are terrified, and the Democrats are already in the trenches of the dumpster pile because the debate with Joe Biden had hurt them so badly that they are even scrounging to try and find a replacement, which they don't really have a replacement. So they're really just all around screwed, and it's not looking great for the Democrats. So they're panicking, they're catching L after L, and it's just not working. And here's the thing, guys, is that if the Democrats were to put Trump into prison or what have you, or convicted him of all these crimes that are allegedly valid, it wouldn't be good for them. It would be the absolute destruction of them. They don't need any more L's, alright? They catched enough L's as it is. And the fact of the matter is, if they do it at the RNC, and people see that will probably raise Trump's donations and everything way higher than they could probably conceivably understand. And it's been happening time after time, guys, where they did the mugshot for Trump. Trump got immense support. Did get quite a bit more funding, but not as much as after the guilty verdict. And then a lot more people started voting for him. And then now they did this conviction with the 34 counts, and not only did he get $400 million in funding, but he also got his votes also rised. And then the debate with against Biden, that hurt them severely. So now they're really in a panic zone, and they just can't, because they can't risk preventing him from going to the RNC, because if they did, it probably would lead to something so tragic that the Democrats would not be able to win for the next decade. So they're really panicking here. And it goes on to say here, guys, that the judge, Juan M. Merchan, may ultimately find no basis to overturn the jury's verdict. But the delay was a surprising turn of events in a case that had led to the first conviction of an American president. With the election on the horizon, the sentencing might be the only moment of criminal accountability for the twice impeached and four-time indicted former president, whose other cases are mired in delay. Yes, because since the Supreme Court has come in and delayed a lot of comments that said that Trump has presidential immunity, it's not looking great on them. Mr. Trump, who was convicted of falsifying business records related to his cover-up of a fun time scandal during his 2016 presidential campaign, was initially scheduled to be sentenced on July 11th. But just days before he is to be formally nominated for president at the Republican National Convention, he faces up to 4 years in prison, though he could receive as little as a few weeks in jail or probation. So yeah, they're panicking, they're terrified here, And we have more as well. Supreme Court's Trump immunity ruling poses risk for democracy, experts say. Yeah, I wonder what those experts are really talking about, because I don't see it. And we're going to be going over this too as well, guys, because there's a lot of stupidity that's going on that we probably have to go over, right? So in this immunity decision, Monday, the Supreme Court emphasized the long-cherished ideal that no one in America is above the law, not even the president. The court's dissenters and chorus of critics said the majority had undercut that notion, elevating the president to a king who could easily avoid prosecution. They warned of future presidents unbound from the rule of law who could freely engage in criminal activity. And they pointed to the prospect of a second term for Donald Trump. The man whose indictment of charges related to his efforts to overturn the 2020 election prompted the Supreme Court to weigh in as a moment when their worst fears could be realized. Goes on to say here in this stupid, incredibly dumb article, and a future president sitting in the Oval Office would want to commit crimes up to including subverting an election or remaining in power against the will of the American people. His opinion, in my mind, could provide a roadmap for that, said David Becker, the executive director of the Center of Election Innovation and Research. Becker, a former voting rights attorney with the Justice Department, said he believed the prosecution of Trump for his past behavior can advance in some form, but holding Trump and other presidents accountable would be far more difficult after Monday's ruling, he said. Yes, and the thing is that what about Joe Biden's crimes that was all going on here, right? Joe Biden's crimes that he's done under the vice presidency. What about Barack Obama, where he bombed a American citizen in Yemen? Like, where are these people? Like, and what about all the other people like Merrick Garland, where they have obviously lied and did something and made the FBI lie about certain stuff, and they're not being arrested, right? So I don't see to where this makes any sense. If you're going to say that this is a problem here and poses a risk for democracy, then you're going to also say this as well. You're going to have to arrest Barack Obama for killing that 14-year-old or 16-year-old American citizen. You're going to have to arrest any president that has done these type of acts in that nature. So it's a two-way street here, and you guys are not really playing fair. You're saying like, oh, Trump get to have these punishments, but not any of us that are doing it. It's really quite ridiculous here. It's dumb. It's absurd. And again, we have this behind the curtain: Trump's imperial presidency in waiting. Goes on to say here, former President Trump, if re-elected, plans to immediately test the boundaries of presidential and governing power, knowing the restraints of Congress and the courts are dramatically looser than during his first term, his advisors tell us. Why it matters? It's not just the Supreme Court ruling on Monday that presidents enjoy substantial legal immunity for actions in office. Trump would come to office with a cabinet and staff pre-vetted for loyalty and a fully compliant Republican coalition and Congress devoid of critics in positions of real power. Well, again, Biden has done exactly the same thing, right? He has done exactly the same thing and has had a catastrophic problems for the American people. They have absolutely failed at their job at an immense level. So I don't see where that is necessarily a problem here, because again, I think every president does this. It says that's a big reason many Democrats worry President Biden is making one of the biggest gambles in U.S. history by staying in the race and amid acute concerns about his age. The big picture: Trump promises an unabashedly imperial presidency, one that would turn the Justice Department against critics, deport millions of people in the U.S. illegally, slap 10% tariffs on thousands of products, and fire perhaps tens of thousands of government staff deemed insufficiently loyal. Deport millions of people in the U.S. illegally. Okay, first of all, it wouldn't be illegally, but another thing too, even if that was the case, people in New York and Chicago, any state that's dealing with these illegal immigrants, and I can't stand them, that's a huge win for them. This is what people would want. Axios, what are you talking about here? Like, the American people want these illegal immigrants gone. They want them gone. So upholding the law, I guess? I don't know. Slap 10% tariffs on thousands of products and fire perhaps tens of thousands of government staff deemed insufficiently loyal. How about firing tens of thousands of government officials that try to politically go after Trump and the American citizens? How about those people? I don't see anything wrong with this because obviously they're not loyal to the American people. They're not loyal to the U.S. citizens. And they go against the U.S. citizens and illegally attack them and legally go after them. So, yes, I think that would be completely fine if Trump is going to go and do this and clean house and put actual people that respect the American Constitution, respect the amendments, and respect the American people first, most of all. So, yes. And then illegally slap 10% tariffs on thousands of products. Yes, because if we get 10% tariffs on thousands of products, which would be from China and any countries that are abusing or taking advantage of the U.S., we get that income. And as we get that income, we would be able to help with our debt problems, put more money into the into the U.S. economy, and actually help U.S. citizens. Put more food on the table. I don't see any problem with this at all. So again, it's just what to watch. To hear Trump and his allies tell it this is how early 2025 would unfold if he wins. Re-elected, Trump would quickly set up vast camps and deport millions of people in the U.S. illegally. He could invoke the Insurrection Act and use troops to lock down the southern border. Well, good, right? Right? We want the southern border locked down. We want it gone. We don't want these illegals here. The people have spoken. The illegal situation here, the illegal immigrants, those people, the American citizens do not want these people here. In Washington, Trump would move to fire potentially tens of thousands of civil servants. Using a controversial interpretation of law and procedure, he replaced many of them with pre-vetted loyalists. If they're loyalists to Trump, then that makes sense. And if it's loyalists for the American people, that's even better. He centralized power over the Justice Department, historically an independent check on the presidential power. He plans to nominate a trusted loyalist for Attorney General and has threatened to target and even imprison critics. He demanded the federal cases against him immediately. Well, first off, he wouldn't even imprison critics because Trump would not even do that. So I don't know where they're getting this from. And has threatened to target, and as so I don't know where they're going with this. Again, Axios is just lying here out of their ass, as they always do. So, again, many of the generally convicts could be pardoned. Yes, the ones that did not commit the crimes and have been in solitary confinement for years now, illegally, by the FBI, yes, I think that might be a good idea to probably pardon some of these people that were legally going in there and did nothing wrong. So, I don't see any problems with this. So, again, sixth conversation, would it intensify about when Justice Thomas 76 and Samuel Alito 74 would retire? I don't know where that would be a problem. I think Clara Thomas has done an amazing job so far. He slapped 10% tariffs on most imported goods, igniting a possible trade war and risking short-term inflation. He argues this would give him leverage to create better trade terms to benefit. It would. And it wouldn't... the American people need this. I don't know what he's doing here. I don't know what... all these things are actually good. See, the problem with Axios is that these are all positive things, especially the illegal immigration thing. So I don't see where there's any problem with this. So, again, they're trying to create fear-mongering. They're trying to make it be as bad as it makes Trump to be this bad guy. But a lot of these things are very net positives. And if you think that the people do not want this, which you can probably see here, that a lot of people just do not agree with illegal immigration. So there's a great positive in this. He would taking control of the southern border. Yes, this is a good thing. So I don't know about you guys. They're really scared. They're really trying to cope and trying to create a fear-mongering campaign against Trump to see what's going on. But the great thing is that they're delaying sentencing. Trump's getting these W's, and the Democrats are keeping on getting these L's, and they're really trying to scavenge and try to really bury the lead here because They don't know what else to do. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted, 'cause it's algorithmic disease, the social media.